So I'm almost finished with the bathroom, and we got some things from IKEA, and wanted to go over some ideas that I had and just some experiences that I had to make things easier for you. I wish I had known them. It might have made it easier for me. We have the double sink. It is an Odensvik and the corresponding Godmorgon 4-drawer Vanity. Now I took the top 2 drawers out so it'll be easier to see the plumbing. But here I'll try to do the real quick version at the beginning so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to. First, this and this come with the sink, and they're specialized parts. And what that means is, since these are chrome, if you want things to match, you pretty much need a chrome faucet. Now this is not from IKEA. IKEA sells faucets which would work just fine, I assume. This is a Pfister Venturi, which ends up working quite well for us. Moving right along quickly, we're going to look at the plumbing. So what makes this set and the IKEA thing so nice is also what makes it such a pain in the behind to install. See these nice big drawers. This is the bottom one. Again, there would be a drawer right here and one right here, which I've temporarily taken out. So you see how deep and nice they are. What that means is, and there's lots of videos on YouTube that, and also just elsewhere on the internet that show this, there's not a whole lot of room in between the wall and the back of the drawer, or else this is going to hit it. So you need to be a little bit creative about how things work. One of my big breakthroughs that I used when I did it is I put a hole, I'll zoom in right there, right through there, and that just made all the difference in the world, opening things up. All right, we went from a single sink to a double sink. So what? So here's why that's important. Because we already had that water inlet, I don't know, that water, and that right there. They were already in place. And what that means is we needed to work around this, so that dictated how far away from the wall it was, that dictated how tall or how high the sink was, because there's this in the center, and you can see that wooden piece that goes along the back. That's a part of the IKEA set, and that's a structural piece. These are both important. So you can see that is right on the top of that. Now I measured this. From that to the floor is 25 inches. From that to the floor, 25 inches, which means that the top of our sink is 35.5 inches. And so you can look at yours and do the math accordingly. So look, if you look at this, we have a gap right here. Well, I guess it would have been nice to put this up against the wall, but we couldn't, because if we scooched the whole thing over, this would have been right in the center of that drain, and obviously that wouldn't have worked. So anyway, the point is that depending on how big of a sink you go, especially if you go with a double sink, and if you have existing plumbing, it's going to dictate where you go. I mean, if we wanted this lower, if we wanted the whole thing lower so the sink wasn't 35.5 inches, you see, I would have needed to, I don't know, maybe cut a hole into that wooden piece, which I wasn't really excited about doing. So again, due to the nature of the plumbing, so look at this. The water goes down here, and normally there's a drawer right here that would go in and out. So you see how this comes down? It needs to go straight back, because if it didn't, then the drawer would go in and hit the drain pipe. And so again, this is it's called the Rinnen plumbing, and it comes with the sink. But it has to be this way. It has to go down just a bit and then go all the way back. And therefore, this piece, which comes with the set and is chrome, is necessary. You can't use a different piece. And speaking of this is all it is. Take it out, put it back. Now this kind of dictates what kind of sink you can get. Obviously it's a single post. Some of them are 3 posts, but with this it's a single post. You notice there's no stalk on the back, right? Sometimes there's a stalk, you raise and lower it, and that raises and lowers this. But because of this drawer, you can't do that. And so again, that limits what kind of what kind of faucet you can get. One, obviously needs to be a single post, but 2, if it has this stalk out the back, that you raise and lower, it just wouldn't do anything. It'd be sitting there and might look kind of silly, personally. Okay, again, so we went from a single sink to a double sink, and obviously each faucet wants to have both hot and cold, so we had hot and cold, so I got a splitter on each of them, and hot goes to one and the other, and cold goes to one, and the other. But remember, if this drawer is in here, you got to be careful that this doesn't stick out so far that the drawer will run into it. And I think we're looking at about 4 inches from the wall or so. So it is kind of tight. Luckily, that worked out easily enough for me. What was harder, much harder, was the drain pipe. Let's see if I can get it there. Great. So the drain pipe. So what I needed to do was the existing drain pipe stuck out about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, which was too far, because then this piece sticks out even further to go into that piece, and that was just too far. So I needed to cut it pretty much flush with the wall, and then get that special glue. You know, you get it's the 2-part system. It's purple or whatever, or there's other ones, but you prep it and you prime it and then you glue it. And so I needed this special piece, again with the special glue that made it so there was enough room to go back there. And then again, the big breakthrough was I just got a hole saw. This hole saw right here. I got the 2-inch, and it seemed to work just fine. I have spade bits, but the biggest I have, and I think the biggest that Home Depot sells, I think, is only 1 inch. And that just wasn't big enough, because if you look at this, the way I'd originally done it, let's see. So imagine that the water goes down here, and then it goes to the back, and it needs to come across here. Well, the issue that I was running into, and you see, actually, I messed up here. I didn't have this idea until I'd already cut this. So it was only going to come down like a centimeter and then go across so it could go on top of this hole. But the problem was it was running into that whole water mechanism, and it was just too tight. So it was going to come down like a ½ an inch or something, and then it was going to come across here. And same thing with this, and it was just too much in too little of space. So maybe one day what IKEA should do is build these with a slot down here, which gives you a lot more room. But what I did is, again, I just got the hole saw, and it just made it so much easier, because now I can go down. You can see where I had initially marked them, where I was going to cut them, is obviously different from how I ended up doing it in the end. So anyway, I hope this gave you some ideas and maybe saves you some time. If it did, I don't know, go out and do something nice for somebody. And good luck. Bye-bye. All right, one last thing that I just thought of to keep in mind. So again, since the nature of this kind of dictates where you put it, how tall and where you put it. We got the 48 inches. It's 48 inches wide. Therefore, from the center over is about 24 inches. But since you're dictated to, in some respects, where to put it, you see, the mounting hardware. These are already in place, right? There's 2 over there, 1 on each side of those, and 2 over there, right? So you got 6 of these mounting places, and those are already there. So if you happen to put this up at a spot that doesn't happen to be on a stud, well then, you know, that's just tough luck. So what I did was I used toggle bolts. So toggle bolt there, those 2. So I got 6 toggle bolts. But what we wanted, you can get legs for this that supports it a little bit better. We wanted the floating one, and that's the way it comes. The legs are an option. We didn't want to put legs on, but I just wasn't real comfortable with just the 6 toggle bolts. So what I did was I found where the studs were, and I think there's a stud. Let's see, yeah, right there, and then there's one over there. And I got these big honking screws. I mean, these were like 6-incher, you know, big screws, and went straight into the studs in this cross beam. Yeah, because I really wanted to get it into the stud. So people like this little one, if she ever wants to sit on the sink, which she shouldn't do, it would still support it. That's all I got. Bye.